Hey kids, Dad here. It is Saturday, February 21st, 2026. It's actually 5:45 p.m. I had a busy day. I had a busy day yesterday. I got to see you guys yesterday. It was I think our 10th time together at Michael's office, actually. And it was the one where we sat with the bear cards. Well, first we played Desert Island. That was my idea. One book, one movie, one meal. That was actually, for me, that was actually really fun. I enjoyed that. So, then we did the Bears, talked about some vacation memories, first time riding a bike memories. And then we ended with some Uno. So what you guys don't know is, I think I mentioned this in the video before, is the last 2 days prior to seeing you guys, my health meter blinking red. I was frustrated, I was irritable, I was restless, I was discontent in a way that I haven't been in a while, in a way that I haven't been in over a year. As I'm driving down to go see you guys, a friend of mine, Army friend of mine, lives out in California, he was giving a little speech, and I joined to listen in from my phone from during the drive to see you guys. His name's Thomas. I got to hear Thomas speak in front of about 100 people about his experiences and how he's gone from being stressed out every day to living an amazing life. And for me to hear that, man, I knew Thomas when he was stressed out. I knew Thomas 6-9 months ago when he was in a very dark place. So to hear Thomas tell his story about how he's recovered and how he's doing now, how he's healed, that was amazing. So I got to see you guys then for an hour. And you guys know, you guys max out my health bars, right? My heart meter. So that was great. Then afterwards, suddenly, for the first time in a couple of days, I'm feeling good again. So after seeing you guys, I went over, I got a friend from Costa Rica who was up in town for the weekend. So I went out and had dinner with him. And between me and my friend from Costa Rica, we also invited a guy who had a problem with alcohol, and he hasn't drank now for about 20 days. So he's really early in trying to figure out, how do I live without alcohol? So we had dinner with him, and that was nice because we just got to have some friendship, some fellowship, and have some laughs together and give some hugs, joke a little bit. And then after that dinner, and he dined there, I had to drive back down to Bravo Zulu House, right? 2-hour drive. Well, I got another friend in New York, and he's a jiu-jitsu guy. His name's Nick. So Nick, the jiu-jitsu guy in New York, he was giving a speech at a meeting with about 40 people, and I kind of nominated him to do that. I told that meeting, yeah, there's this guy named Nick. He might be good to come in and speak to us on Friday night. And they ended up contacting him, and he said yes. And Nick has never spoken in front of a group of people. He's definitely never spoken in front of a group of people about his story, about how he struggled with drugs and alcohol, and how dark, how some of the suicidal thoughts that he had, and how he found God, and he found what we call sobriety, not doing any drugs or alcohol, and how he's taken some steps, and how his life is now amazing. And I'll tell you what, guys, that on that meeting, those 40 people, almost all of them are crying. Because Nick's a tough guy from New York City. He's a tough guy. You see him on the street, you wouldn't want to mess with Nick. And he was being vulnerable and telling his truth and his story. And he was getting choked up. 40 people, they were all crying. And I was getting a little choked up in there. I've listened to him. And you know what a lot of it was? I was so absolutely grateful to have met him. I just met him 2 months ago. He's what we call a newcomer. He doesn't know, how to live this sober thing. But I connected with him over jiu-jitsu. And we talk routinely. And we go to some of the same meetings. He started going to the same support group meeting that I do every morning. And he's actually a really cool, funny, interesting guy. I actually sent him a book well, last week, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, one of the best books I've read in the last year. I sent it to him, and he sent me a meditation book. So, I consider him a friend. And to hear him share his story, the courage it takes for a New York tough guy, jiu-jitsu guy, blue-collar guy, grew up on the streets, to hear him be vulnerable and honest with a group of strangers, and to see him do it so well. He'd never spoken in front of a group like that before. To see him do it so well and deliver his message told a lot of people that last night, hey, even if you feel like you're in a dark place and you're struggling, maybe you want to kill yourself too. Maybe you just don't want to wake up in the morning. There's a way. There's a way to get through that and get to a point where you love life every day. And that's a message a lot of people need to hear. So I was so grateful to have this Nick guy in my life. I haven't met him in person yet. I think I get to meet him in person this fall, though, at a retreat. A little 3-day getaway for some guys. Gonna meet him in Wisconsin at a lake for a couple days. But then after that one, I had my last meeting of the day. There's a 10 p.m. meeting. And I like that meeting because I get to go to bed. Go on Zoom, lay it next to my bed, lay down. And there's a guy out in California who has become a good friend. And he does amazing work with people in homeless shelters. And he talked about his journey. He talked about there was a time where he was in jail. And he couldn't see his kids. He couldn't see his wife. And he had to make some radical changes in his life to avoid drugs and alcohol, to start doing the right thing. And how now his kids live with him. He lives with his kids. He even lives with his wife still. The same lady who sent him to jail for 2 years. How amazing is that? And it's all because of this program of sobriety, getting a relationship with God, and working some 12 steps. And I went to bed last night and I slept fantastic. Not a single bad dream. My heart was full. And you know what? I woke up then this morning, and even some of this silliness at Bravo Zulu House, these knuckleheads that were driving me nuts the last couple days, I sat down with him and I said, hey, buddy, let's go have a smoke break. And you guys know Dad doesn't smoke, but this guy does. So that was code for let's go sit down and have a conversation. And we sat down for about 20 minutes outside, had a great conversation. And you know what? You know what we learned? We actually are both pretty good people. We're both doing the right thing. Our hearts are both in the right place. And the only problem is we're not communicating. We needed to communicate face-to-face in person and have that conversation. We ended up hugging. We're on the same page. We're going to kick some butt together. Lesson learned there for me was got to communicate. And his concern was, he said, well, Ryan, you seem really unapproachable. And I said, well, Ben, when I'm working, I am. From 8 in the morning till 5 at night, I am. Because I'm focused on work. I don't have time to deal with anything else. I got to put all my brain power has to go into my work. Otherwise, I'll get in trouble at work. But in the evenings, on the weekends, just tell me you want to have a smoke break and we can talk. I'd love to. And I think Ben learned that today. That, wow, you know what? I just go to a smoke break with Ryan. I just go sit outside and talk to him one-on-one in person. And wow, he's actually amazingly reasonable. And we both want the same things. We're both aligned. And the only change that either of us need to make, we just got to talk more. We just got to communicate more. So that was really encouraging. So what's the moral of today's story? What's the takeaway? I don't know, there's probably a few. One, I loved seeing you guys yesterday. That filled my heart. That filled up my heart, my health meter. I hope it did you guys too. Second lesson, wow, finding a community of people, speaking openly, honestly with them, going to places where they're speaking and supporting them, showing up to support them. Ooh, that starts building that body armor. That's your red health meter is full. Then you get that blue meter below it, right, for your armor. My body armor gets filled up. Getting close to God, getting close to people, talking, sharing a good message of God and recovery. And then finally, the third one, this is probably the big one. How do I resolve this angst, this anxiety, this fear, this sense of ick for a couple days? Just have a conversation. Understand the other person is a human being. that their heart's probably in the right place, that maybe the best way to communicate is not over a text message or over an email, but just having a conversation, whether it's on a phone or in person. Just having a conversation and saying, "Hey, man, I understand what you're trying, what I'm feeling is not good, and here's what it feels like to me, and here's why. Here's my concerns. Here's what my perspective is, and what are yours?" Because I can guarantee that you're probably didn't wake up this morning saying, "I'm going to make that guy's life frustrating." I know I didn't wake up this morning saying, "I'm going to make that guy's life frustrating." And once you get to the point where you can just talk and communicate and say, "I'm not feeling great about this stuff right now that's going on. Let's talk about it." You have that open, honest conversation. Boy, do both adults come away feeling better. That's the third lesson. Communicate. You're feeling that resentment, that frustration with somebody, you feel like they're being a knucklehead, communicate. Just be honest, open, talk from your heart. Try and leave your emotions out of it. Just stick to the facts. And you know what? Maybe you end up hugging it out, charging forward, doing some great things for people in the world. Love you kids so much. We'll talk soon.